Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So today, I just want to bring a little snippet. I usually don't talk about reality TV show things, but some of you may be familiar with the show 90 Day Fiance. I talked about it one time a couple of months ago, and there's a Muslim couple on that show by the name of Shaeedah and Bilal. Now, I do have a clip, but I can't play the clip. I'm going to actually put the link in the clip of the description box. And the reason why I'm even talking about this is because there's a discrepancy about the prenuptial agreement. Bilal is a wealthy man and Shaeedah is not a wealthy woman. And he is thinking that in order to protect himself, the best way to do that is to have a prenuptial agreement, and he's wanting her to sign it and she doesn't want to sign it. Now, they are getting married through the state basically because they have to. As she's coming from another country and she's going to be basically an immigrant here, they have to get married according to the state and do all of the legal paperwork in order for her to become a legal citizen. So that's actually important. It's not odd, but it is important in this particular case. And here's the thing. When he's brought it up to her in several conversations, but in this last episode, he brought it up to her and she's, not really liking it. And one of the things that she was saying was that, okay, you're the spouse with the money. I'm not. I'm giving up everything coming from Trinidad and all of this type of stuff to come be with you. It's going to be X amount of time before I can actually legally work here because it takes that amount of time for me to become a legal citizen here. With that being said, that means I'm going to have to do all of this extra work in order to get my own money, in order to get my own stuff, in order to get my, my. And you're the one with your money and I'm going to have my money. And right now I don't have any money. So I'm vulnerable to anything that you do because you're the one that's going to have the money and I'm the one that's basically going to be SOL. So as she was talking this way, he's kind of looking at her like, but you're going to be my wife though. Like, and in this clip, he's like, do you plan on cheating on me? Do you plan on divorcing me? And she's like, no. He's like, okay, so this prenup doesn't come into effect unless you go back on that. And so my initial thoughts from her response, which there was a longer conversation in what this clip in the description box is going to show. My initial response was, why is it that a lot of these women are getting with these men, but not trusting in the provision of these men? She obviously doesn't trust his provision. Like he's going to leave her to hang out to dry without any money. Like he's going to lock her up in a dungeon. You know what I'm saying? And she's not going to be able to eat or stay nowhere because he's in control of the money until she gets able to make her own money. And I find that to be based in gynocentric thought that a lot of Black women subscribe to, that men who have control of finances are automatically going to put you in some type of abusive situation. So in order to not be in that situation, the best thing that you can do is come up with your own money. But that kind of don't make no sense because even with your own money, you're going to still want him to pay for everything. You still want him in control of the finances. Like you still want him to do all of this stuff with his money. You just don't want to have any risk when it comes to that. So for me, her coming from that standpoint was real gynocentric. I didn't like that, especially considering that Shaeedah is a Muslim sister. So I'm not really feeling that. But here is the other more pertinent part of all of this. As a Muslim couple, they're having to involve the state in a marriage that actually Islamic law governs already. There's really no such thing in Islam as a prenuptial agreement. And the reason why there's really no such thing as that in Islam, I mean, if a man want to have that, I guess he can create a contract if she agree. But the reason why there's really no such thing as a prenuptial agreement in Islamic law is because the divorce decrees are already set. Regardless of what a man has or doesn't have, he could be a gazillionaire or he can be a average earning dude or whatever. It Unless there are other circumstances, meaning like she's pregnant or something else is going on, the actual situation, if a man, first of all, Islam gives the man jurisdiction over the divorces. Women can get divorces initiated, but she has to go through Islamic court to do that. And she has to prove his incompetence. She has to prove his lack of Islam. He's not following deen and things of that nature, or he's being abusive or something like that. Like, she has to come to an Islamic court to prove that he's not being who he's supposed to be Islamically as her husband. He's not fulfilling the rights of herself or the family, and a court will grant her an annulment of the marriage. But that's a Sharia court thing, right? Aside from that, really it's the men who hold the reins of the marriage. He gets to say whether they're married or divorced. So that's the number one thing that kind of mitigates prenups. The other thing, though, is that in case of divorce, the typical thing is to wait. There's a waiting period, and it's called an iddah, and it's 90 days long. It's 3 months long. The purpose of that waiting period is to establish that whether she is or is not pregnant by him, which actually changes things if she is. Number two, it attempts to give the couple a chance to reconcile the marriage, to see if they can actually come back together in a marriage tie and not actually complete the divorce. Okay. During that 3 months, though, the money, there's no such thing really as alimony either. The money, if he has money, he is only obligated to take care of her to the level that he's been taking care of her for those 90 days. After those 90 days, he's not obligated to take care of her anymore, right? So if she was used to living in a mansion and all this kind of stuff, she still gets to live there. She still gets to eat how she been eating, sleep how she been sleeping, live how she been living. But she needs to be trying to find her way, her own way, or she needs to be trying to find another husband. If there are children involved, she actually has to give the children to him, which in reality relieves her financial burden of having to take children with her and look after them on her way out of that marriage. Even inheritance law is described already in the Quran. So if he's wealthy and he happens to pass away, she gets a portion of the estate. If she has children, they get a portion of the estate. All of those things are already predetermined. They're already predetermined. So like I said, he can be a gazillionaire and he never really got to worry about what she going to be able to take from him, because she's not really able to take nothing from him. In reality, Islam removes all of the threat away from women and what they are able to do. Right? Now, men are encouraged to be fair in the situation, so that men are actually encouraged to give their wives like gifts in the divorce or whatever, right? So like if he is wealthy, and let's say she spent the last 25 years of her life helping him build that wealth, any man who, especially a Muslim, he's not gonna want to see a Muslim sister just out on the street. He probably gonna break her off something anyway. Now, he's not obligated or mandated according to Islamic law, but he would be kind of, like, this still your Muslim sister, whether you're married to her or not. You see what I'm saying? So there's still an obligation on that front, even if he's not obligated as her husband anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a spiritual component there that's supposed to keep the two people at least amicable, even though the relationship, the marriage did not work. What this does, when you have the state involved in your marriage, which if Bilal wants to marry her in particular, he doesn't have a choice. He has to go through the state with it. What's creating the rift is, first of all, he's having to put what the United States of America's law over and above Islamic law. That's number one. That's the number one problem. The number two is that because the state is involved, it gives Shaeedah a threat, whether she wants that threat or not. Him trying to get her to sign a prenup is his way of attempting to get her to remove the threat off the table, right? That's what he's trying to get her to do. He's trying to say, listen, I want to marry you, but I also need to be able to protect myself because we're going through the law. We're going through the lost value system with our marriage, which puts what that is at the top, wealth, which puts family third from the bottom with no loving support, right? So because even if Shaeedah never intends to do anything dirty, whether they make it as a couple or not, the state is going to give her a gun with a bullet in it. Okay. And if you get to a situation where you're at the end of the marriage, she may love him now, but who knows what she going to be feeling at whatever time when her feelings hurt, her heart broke, or whatever the situation might be. She might be feeling like, you know what, I got a little get back for this Negro. I know exactly where to hit him. I'm going to hit him in his pocket. The other component to this is that when the state, because what we have to understand, and this is why I don't like state-sanctioned marriages. Other people can have their opinion. You do what you want to do. Folks is grown. I'm not here to tell y'all to do or not do. This is just my personal experience and opinion. Okay? This is why I don't like state-sanctioned marriage, because when the state get involved, it's not a marriage anymore. The spiritual component is gone. The love is gone. The connection is gone. The emotion is gone. All of this stuff is gone. Because if I guarantee you, if the state didn't have nothing to do with this, if Bilal didn't have to go through the state to do nothing, that prenup probably would never be mentioned. He probably wouldn't even have it. Because if you're going by Islamic law, it ain't no need for it. It's not even necessary. And you can focus on making the relationship work without telling the other person, look, I got money, so you might become a threat later, even if she wasn't intending on being a threat in the first place, right? So it takes all of the stuff out that's supposed to be in the marriage, and it actually sets these two as enemies to one another. Because now he's telling her, you're a threat that I have to protect myself from. I got to protect myself from you. And she feeling some type of way because it's like, well, we're supposed to be in a relationship. I didn't come to you threatening you. Right? But now this piece of paper and all of the ramifications that go with it got you looking at me like I came to rob you. And you can really see both sides of it, because you can't say he's wrong, because again, whether she want to or not, the state is going to hand her a threat in her hand. Whether she ever use it or not, it's going to be there. So for him, it's like, well, I kind of got to do it because I don't want you to take me for everything I've worked for and go back to Trinidad when you're done with me. After you get your green card or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Now you're a legal citizen. Now I can kick rocks. And because you're legally married to me, you automatically get half or more than what I got, stuff that I accumulated before you. Right? And then on the other hand, if you seeing her, it's like, well, you know, what about the sentimentality? What about the emotional connection of it all? The problem is that the way in which the state has set up marriage, the way in which the law has dictated it, makes her a threat. It makes all women a threat, whether she want to be or not. Even the lioness becomes a threat, whether she want to be or not. Whether she want to be or not. And it puts us in a dilemma where we have to go through these extra steps, you know what I'm saying, to assure that I'm not a threat. But that places enmity. There's going to be an enmity in each other's heart. She's going to always feel some type of way. Even if she's signing and they get married and they have a good marriage, she's going to feel some type of way about that piece of paper. She gonna always feel some type of way because she feels some type of way about it right now. That's not gonna change. So there's a wedge. So the actual thing that I'm really saying here is that that's why I disagree with state marriages, because to them it's a business. It ain't got nothing to do with love or family. In this society, which we know runs off of the lost value system, there's no loving support in families. So they actually care about it. The state don't care whether or not you together or not. Matter of fact, they prefer you apart because it makes money for them. Child support, alimonies, court costs, this, that, and the third. It keep a lot of judges and lawyers in family court and family law in practice. Keep a lot of folks with their job. And they don't care how many families get broke up and busted up behind all of that. So I know this is going a little bit long-winded, but that's the whole point of me bringing this up. The threats. They actually this country, the way that they had a law set up, is set up for you to fail. It's set up for the divorce, not for the success of the marriage, but for the inevitability of the divorce. So I just wanted to come to you guys and talk to you about that for a moment. I also want to mention that we have a petition against Black Lives Matter organization for the $90+ million that they stole from the Black community. The link to that petition is in the description box. So please sign it, please share it, contribute if you can to it, so that we can get it up to at least over 4,000 signatures and we can start to get more traction. Also, sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.